What's up, good people, and welcome back to my channel where we bond over our favorite TV shows, trending topics, and everything in between that we care about. So today we are back with another trending story, and today we are talking about the 4 Americans who were kidnapped in Mexico. On March 7th of 2023, 2 Americans were found deceased in Mexico and 2 others were rescued and returned to the US. And this story has left more questions than answers. And one of those questions is, what occurred with the 5th friend who happened to be a female who did not cross over into Mexico with them? The disappearance of 4 Americans who were kidnapped in Mexico was first reported by a friend who called the police in Bronzeville, Texas on Saturday, a police report shows. Cheryl Orange called the police from a Motel 6 in Bronzeville, Texas to report that Latavia McGee, Eric Williams, and Shaid Woodard had not been heard from since driving a rented minivan towards Matamoros, Mexico on Friday morning, according to police. Cheryl Orange said that McGee was planning to have a medical procedure there. She also told police that she stayed behind in the United States because she did not have an ID with her, and the 4 had not been answering their cell phones. The Brownville police checked a local jail to make sure that no one in that party had been taken into custody, but no other action was taken. The disappearance of the 4 friends sparked international incident, with the FBI launching an investigation, the White House intervening, and some Republican members of Congress calling for invading Mexico with U.S. troops. The FBI even offered a $50,000 reward for information leading to the finding of the Americans and partnered with Mexican law enforcement. The Americans were located on the morning of Tuesday, March the 7th, in a small wooden house in the field outside of the city of Matamoros. Mexican authorities detained one suspect they had identified only as Jose Guadalupe, who is 24 years of age, who they said was guarding the house. 2 of the 4 U.S. citizens kidnapped at gunpoint in northern Mexico last week were found deceased, while the other 2 were rescued after an intense south of the border search. The 2 survivors, Latavia Tay McGee and Eric James Williams, who was shot twice in his left leg and once in his other, were rushed to the border in a convoy of ambulance and law enforcement vehicles and handed over to the U.S. authorities in Brownsville, Texas, and admitted to a hospital there. According to the FBI, the frantic rescue came 4 days after the 4 were in a white van with a North Carolina license plate when an unidentified gunman fired on their vehicle amidst a busy stretch of downtown Matamoros. The Americans were then thrown into the back of a pickup truck and sped away, a violent scene captured and widely disseminated on video, in what is believed to be the case of mistaken identity. Additionally, Mexican authorities also stated that a Mexican woman was killed in the shootout. After the 2 surviving Americans, Latavia McGee and Eric James Williams, were located, their families spoke with the media, starting with Latavia McGee's mom and 3 of her children.
She was telling me that how they was hostile and how they had it in that little place and it was stank with the her brother in there, and all of them was hostile in a little thing together. And they were moving her from place to place.
In one interview, it was stated by Eric Williams' wife that the family was now concerned that the cartel may be coming for them at home, and that he had informed her not to do any media interviews with her face showing. However, I was able to find one interview where it appears that she was on camera.
It was just tears of joy, I guess, that he's alive. I didn't even want to imagine what he was going through, or what any of them were going through.
In the aftermath of this, there has been much controversy in Mexico and the issues with American safety there. And because of this, allegedly the cartel oddly issued a written apology if you believe the narrative that's being put out there. Allegedly, the cartel gave up their members who were responsible for the kidnapping and the taking of the life of the Americans. They took them to the site of the initial crime scene and bound them and laid them out to be captured with a note stating that these were basically rogue cartel members and basically do what you want with them. And this again is the narrative that's being put out, but many who understand how the cartel works says that there's more to this than meets the eye. One theory is that if the cartel did in fact do this, they basically put up lower level members who really aren't a part of what the heads do. They would only put them up because of the fact that they wouldn't want to put up anyone who could potentially give any information to law enforcement on the behind the scenes of the operations of the cartel. So that, of course, that would make more sense. Usually I thought that they handled these things behind the scenes, but for now, this is what we know. In addition, as you know, what I like to do over here is give all sides of the story, even the rumors, so that when we're hearing things out there, we know what has been confirmed versus what is rumor. One of the things that I found was interesting in one of the initial interviews that I heard with Eric Williams' wife is that she said that she was not even aware that he was in Mexico or planning to travel to Mexico. And last she had spoken with him, he said he was basically just going to hang out with his friends who were like siblings to him, like brothers and sisters to him. But there was no mention of him traveling to a different country, which seems very odd because it's not like they lived in Texas and Mexico was right over the border. Like that was quite a bit of a road trip to come from North Carolina all the way down through Texas and into Mexico. Interesting. And also there's another rumor, and I'm not sure if there's any validity to it whatsoever, but allegedly that they all have some history with drugs and selling drugs or use of drugs or both. And on top of that, that Latavia McGee's husband is currently incarcerated for drug trafficking of some sort and looking at a potential sentence of 10 years. And there was also a conversation about the fact that they had over $7,000 on them. However, if she was there, in fact, for the cosmetic surgery, those medical procedures, they do only take cash. And so from what I'm hearing, and so that part would make sense. Although some are saying that amount of money would not be necessary for the cost of those sort of procedures in Mexico, but I don't know what else they planned on doing down there. And also it's stated that that was not her first time in Mexico for a procedure. And also statistically, it is known that each year nearly 1 million US citizens seek medical procedures in Mexico, where drug and treatments are generally much cheaper than in the United States, according to the Mexican Council for Medical Tourism Industry. So there's a whole industry, tourism industry, not just for vacationing, but also for medical procedures. But with that, we know that there are many issues, with Mexico, and this is not the first situation with Americans. The United States Department has advised Americans not to travel to the state of Matamoros due to the risk of crime and kidnapping. And that warning has been out there for quite a while. So for any of you who, like myself, love to travel, and specifically Mexico, I was just there. Literally, I was just there a couple of weeks ago in Mexico. But definitely be safe and, prioritize your safety over everything. But we will see what else is happening with this situation. Kind of looks like people are leaning towards we have the answers so far, or at least the authorities seem to be leaning that way. And I'm not sure how much of that is by design, but I will continue to follow this story, and we'll see what develops as time goes on. So definitely hit that subscribe button if you want to know more about this, as well as many other stories. And also remember to like this video to help this channel grow. So with that, until next time, until I upload the next video, make sure to take care and be blessed. Peace.